Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to me again. Now I will talk about tools of data collection for meeting 8. Okay, my name is Salsabila from 5th class. Let's get started. In research, there are three tools for data collection. First is questionnaires, the second is interviews, and the third is observation. But in this video, I will just talk about interviews only. First is definition. Any person-to-person interaction between two or more individuals with a specific purpose in mind is called interview. There are so many advantages of interview, such as in-depth information can be obtained from the respondent, clarifications and explanation can be made, complete responses can be obtained, full control over respondent's environment, text takes less time and effort of the respondent, flexible for illiterates, less ambiguity, adaptability of language, and observation of supplementary information. But there are also many disadvantages of interview, such as expensive method when the target population is big in number and widely spread, bias analysis, same set of questions may receive diverse answers, no anonymity, requires skilled and trained interviewers, difficulty in getting appointment with top-level management groups, and technical barrier. There are This is types of interviews. So interview is divided by two, such as face-to-face interview and telephone interview. For face-to-face interview, they divided into two parts also, such as structured interview and unstructured interview. And for unstructured interview, divided into three parts: focus interview, non-directive interview, and clinical interview. For face-to-face interview, face-to-face interview is divided into two parts, right? There are structured and unstructured. For structured interviews are excessively used in survey research with the intention of maintaining uniformity throughout all the interview section. Example for structured interview is the question example is, do you make use of computer in your research? The answer is yes, blah blah blah, and no, blah blah blah. For this structured interview, the advantages are generates uniform data, requires less skill, and requires less time. But the disadvantages is more but the disadvantages are more ambiguity, no clearance of doubts, no possibility of addition or deletion. Now for unstructured interview, in this type of interview, the interviewer exercises autonomy whatever comes to his or her mind on a particular research problem. Here, the interviewer is free to ask additional questions and also repeat, delete, or modify questions. The example of question is, how do you keep up to date in the field of research? And the answer is up to the interviewee or the respondent. The advantages for this interview are free to ask additional questions, gives in-depth information, more flexible, but the disadvantages are time-consuming, demands specialized training, difficult to analyze the result. Now for the telephone interview. Telephonic interview is conducted on phone. The researcher needs a telephone connection and an instrument, a phone directory, and a set of questions to be asked. The advantages for this interview are faster and cheaper, replies can be recorded, no field staff required. But so many disadvantages: costly international and domestic calls, possibility of having no telephone connections to respondents, poor signal or other network problem, language barrier, no control over respondents' environment. Okay, that's all my explanation about interview. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.